Good evening, friends. Happy Saturday. How are you? The weekend is here. A time for adventure and, going out normally. And it probably will be next weekend by the sound of things. But tonight, my friends, no need to leave the comforts of your home. No need to even get off your phone. I am going to take you to Las Vegas, Nevada tonight. Oh, I've got guests. I'm going to have a chat with two of my favourite people this evening. The wonderful KYLE and MISTie KNIGHT. They're an illusion duo from Las Vegas. More than that, though. Creative people they are. Wonderful. And as soon as I see them in the thing, I'm going to let them in and we'll get the chat started. You'll probably recognise them when you see them. Oh, they've been on telly. Where are we? Where's the thing? Here it comes. Here it comes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Danny Buckler Show this evening. As soon as I do the thing, this is always awkward. Oh, this process is always death. Just click a thing like a show I would. Here they come. Can I time it right? Opening a portal across the multiverse to Las Vegas. And boo, yakasha!
It's Danny Buckler! Yay!
Hey, it's Kyle Knight. Oh, look at the professionalism. Did I not tell you, Las Vegas? Look, proper red curtain.
We missed you, Danny. It's so good to see you.
It's been such a long time. Years!
I miss you too. It's been way too long. We met on the Disney Cruise Line.
Yeah, we used to work with Danny all the time on Disney cruises. We used to have so much fun. And he always kept us laughing. So it's good to see your face.
That's it. You praised me. Now you can go. That was Kyle.
That's it.
Let's knock this on the head. That was literally why I got a mum. Just want to get that clip for the show reel. How's Vegas then?
It's okay. It's so weird. It's not like, I mean, the city just opened back up to tourists about 4 or 5 days ago. And they're slowly trying to get back to normal, but I don't know if we're going to see normal for a while. I don't know if we're ever going to see that version of normal again, but it's coming back. And there was even talks of shows opening again soon. Small theaters are already starting to open. There's comedy shows and things that have been happening. So,
really?
Mm-hmm.
How are they working that?
They're social distancing. They're lessening the capacity. A theater that we work in, Tahoe, just opened last night too at a limited capacity. So we're seeing this happen slowly but surely. But in the meantime, we're just focusing on virtual shows because we're not going to sit around and wait for it. And we're performing things for people online just like this. And it's been really cool.
Absolutely not. That's exactly what I've been doing. I can either, you can either curse the dark or light a candle, you know, or in my case, a little circular light. No, I've been building Buckler Studios over the course of the pandemic.
That's what we've been doing too. Yes, you have to. You have to do something to keep yourself occupied and keep the gears, moving. So,
absolutely. So, what are you? So, you're doing virtual shows, I'm assuming, or you're starting to, or you have done, or
over the past month, that's pretty much been all of our focus. We started out. There's a really cool program called Win-Win Entertainment that allows us to volunteer for different charity organizations, and we would do that in person and go to the children's hospitals, and they just started doing virtual shows. So we did a lot of those, performing for the children in the hospitals and stuff, and it gave us an understanding of what works in this kind of virtual platform and how to get the audience involved, what magic is the best for that, and the limitations of it, there's advantages too, the fact that everybody gets a front row seat, you can see everything up close. That's a really good thing about this. So we started with those. Then we actually started doing we did a lot of test shows with friends and family, and then we started doing our paid shows, and we actually had a corporate client last week that was really happy. And then we've got a public show next Saturday, a week from today, that we're selling tickets for. So just expanding the different avenues.
Oh, sweet. We'll plug that again at the end.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's my goal to never leave the house again. So
you know what's so funny?
If I had your house, I wouldn't leave the house. Full stop.
He made a joke not long ago saying, I wish that I could just get them to pay me to stay home. And now it's happening.
No, right. I had the same. I remember. I was just before it all started. I was sitting on a flight home from It was from Disney. My last flight home, and I was sitting there thinking, I could do with 4 months off. I'm knackered. and now it's happened, and it's like I could do with this ending really quickly because no one's this tired.
Yes, this gave us a lot of time to be creative. We worked on so much new projects, so many new ideas that finally, been sitting in the back of my brain trying to, festering over, and I've really come up with a lot of really cool things. So I'm excited about the next generation of these shows and going back to real shows again. It's just so many exciting things in the works. So
fantastic. So how do you create? How do you do? What's your process, the two of you?
We set up a ring where we fight. And then whoever wins gets their idea to go forward.
And that's not even a joke. That's not even a joke. We just argue about every little detail about everything.
So. I know. You're a mediator sometimes during sessions.
I have been in the middle of night versus night on many occasions.
It's a long process, and he's the one that has the ideas. They'll come to him in the middle of the night, or I'll be working on the computer doing business stuff, and he'll say, hey, stop, I need to show you something, and then we discuss it, and we often have trial audiences because you don't really know until you put it in front of somebody if it's going to work. Yeah. So we have a close circle that we can a group of friends that we test stuff out with, and family, and then it evolves, and sometimes it makes the cut into the show, sometimes it doesn't. We've had stuff that went in the show that was new that we didn't like. We took it out, ended up putting it back in several years later, and then it stuck. So you just keep it on file.
I love yours. I always tell the story about the first time I saw you do the show in the Walt Disney Theatre. Because
what happened? I don't know that story.
Nothing. You did your show and I nodded off. No, you did. And it was the best night's sleep I ever had. No. I was just seeing you do that. I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't seen it, but you use illusions, but in such a unique way.
Oh, right. I know what you're talking about.
And there was one moment in that show that I'd never seen anyone do before that was just like the use of a prop that no one had ever thought of. And it created a real, I genuinely had no clue how it was done. And it was, I don't want to say what it is because I want people to see it. But I think you know what I'm talking about though, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
And it's a central piece to the show. And I just remember being blown away by it. Absolutely, just like, oh my God, these people know what they're doing.
Well, thank you, Danny. That's very sweet of you.
And now we're done.
It's funny because we kind of built our performance style on the audience interaction, letting them get involved, letting them get up close and in ways that they've never seen before. And it's not us performing at them. It's literally an experience of all of us together. And it's interesting because this new age of live theater, as it comes back, that element has literally been taken away from us. We can't let them get up close and touch. And that was what we had kind of built our persona on for a long time. So we're now having to reinvent that. And these virtual shows have really taught us how to still have that experience where they feel like they're interacting and they're a part of it, experiencing it while not physically touching or getting physically close. It's possible, but it's tricky.
It's unbelievable. This is what I find myself in a similar predicament to yourselves. I'm trying to rewrite, when you suddenly realize if I take all of the audience interaction out of my show, I'm left with 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know. And I've already heard from rumors of people that the cruises are expecting us not to have people on stage going forward, at least temporarily.
I think the hypnotists are the ones that are going to be really, they're done.
Oh, that's the end of that, isn't it? Yeah. Unless you do I'm going to hypnotize you out there in your seats.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
But I can't see me finding a young apprentice magician anytime, bringing him up on stage, letting his parents come up,
We're just going to have to rethink it. And there's things that we do in our virtual show, actually quite a bit that we do in our virtual show that was in our stage show on the cruises and in the theaters and things. And we're just finding different ways to have them be involved, and it's possible, but it's trial and error at this point, just learning what works best.
At least we've got some time to do it, eh?
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Yeah, have you been staying busy? Same thing?
Much like yourselves. I've been, one Benny Slade says hello from Atlanta. I don't know if you know him. What have I been doing? The same as yourselves, just like after the initial, we went through the same phase. The initial, it'll be 3 weeks. And then the whole oh, nonsense. We'll be back on the sea in a month's time. And then we're not going back out, are we? This is it. I'm done.
This is it.
I think next year.
And now my belief is it will be next year.
Yeah. Well,
realistically.
I work in addition to doing our show, I also work as an agent and manager for other acts. I have about 9 acts on my roster that I work with directly. And I help them get booked on the cruises. And then after that, work with them, consistently managing everything and helping them and assisting with everything in the show and managing the business stuff. And I've been finding out that in August, a few of the cruise lines are going to come back, but they're going to come back in a small sense. They're going to come back with maybe 3-4 ships, and they're going to limit those itineraries to really short itineraries, probably just going to their private islands. And from there, they're going to expand and see, you know, how it goes, test it out, and then start expanding more. So we actually have a gig mid-August that happens to be a short itinerary that goes to private islands. So we may end up, we'll see how it goes.
Wow, I'd like to hear about that, especially the audience interaction element.
Hi, David from India.
Hey,
David's actually one of the acts that I work with.
Hang on a second. Did you just do a thing?
I can't stop.
You're the first person to do a trick on here.
Oh, gosh.
That's brilliant. That's the first person I've had on don't actually do a trick. Everyone else just sort of talks. Yeah, wow. Hey. I've lost my thread now.
You're the best audience.
Is this like magicians, or is this like regular people?
This is what I normally get about 50, it's normally about 50-50, depending on who's going to be magicians tonight. I was going to say, if anyone's got any questions, I'll have one eye on the stream. If you've got a question, fire it up.
Can I do a trick? Can I do a trick for the regular people? A quick one?
Yes, you can. Oh, please.
Right.
I would be
Let me
delighted.
show you this.
So this is an example of how you have an advantage in a virtual setting like this, because you get to see everything up close.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have this in the theater. You'd be far away. But take a look. You got a pair of scissors. You've got a handkerchief. You can see that this is actually being cut into 2 pieces.
I'm loving
You know
this.
that this is not an illusion. You know, because you can see it right in front of your face.
This is
How
not a
close
camera
can
trick.
you get?
This is, look at that. I can get right up to real close like this. It's 100% in 2 pieces right there, right? But because this is interactive here, you guys can watch this. You can see this closer than anybody else. You all have a front row seat. Watch as I magically put it right back together, just like that.
I'm loving this. Magic across the ocean. The world has gotten small. Oh, this is brilliant news. So how long is the online show? How long does it last for?
So right now it's falling around 35-40 minutes, and it does fluctuate depending on how, this is kind of it's a fun experience for all of us. So we're talking to the audience throughout the show. I see, you know, George down there. I'm able to talk and just, you know, banter with George. You know what I mean? Whoever.
Yeah.
So it allows it to be a little bit loose. But yeah, it falls around 35-40 minutes. And it's structured with a beginning, middle, and end. It's not just a collection of tricks where we say, hey, here's this. Like what we're doing right now, we're just throwing some things out there at you. But this is a show. It feels like an experience. There's an ending where everything
comes together,
and you feel like you've seen something that was well thought out. That's our intention anyway. And we've gotten good reviews so far with the corporate clients we've had. So we're happy about that.
Oh, I'm desperate to see this, and it's this weekend. I'll get it on the link on
we
the
have,
thing.
We have a handful of tickets left for the public show. We're limiting because we like to keep it intimate. We don't want to just have a ton of people because we'd like to be able to see everybody, have a chance to interact. And we've got, I think, about 9 tickets left for the show next Saturday. And they're $20. And then it's for the whole household. So whoever you get into that screen gets to watch the show.
I heartily endorse this product. And
if you got any night owls, I think it'll be midnight your time whenever we do it.
But we'll have plenty more.
Yeah, we're going to end up doing like 1 a month probably.
That's true, because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Vegas right now, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock at night.
Bed, so
our schedule's so weird now. We're staying up so late.
I go to bed at 4 in the morning.
I'm not kidding. That's what we do. We have dinner really late. We have our snack at like 1 in the morning. It's awful.
Me, it's late night eating. This is what this is. I've got the COVID chin has come on.
Hi, Jordan.
Like you know me of old. You know that I used to be this sort of toned Adonis of a man. But the rippling 6-pack abs, the sense of it could have been Danny and Misty Knight if you'd only seen it.
So we had the
chocolate at midnight. Look at the state of it.
Oh, hush, Danny, you look good.
Oh, you're very kind.
We had some good memories with Danny.
Where were we?
We were in Venice, so we had an overnight in Venice, Italy.
We
and
did.
The 3 of us got to go out and just wander the streets, and that was such a fun experience. I miss days like that.
That was a proper, like, what's the film about Venice? Oh, Don't Look Now. What's the film with the horrible midget in Venice? Anyway,
I don't know that.
No, not you. No, the horror from Donald Sutherland, the famous one. It's set in all those alleyways. Oh, I think it's called Don't Look. Oh, it'll come to me. But anyway, we got lost, as I recall, as well.
We did get lost in Venice, which is what you do because it's so easy to. But we ended up finding our way back. It was a fun night.
It really was. I've got the photographs of it still. I might actually post one after this as a little. Yeah, that was a beautiful. Look at the shots with the masks in the windows and trying to work out how the postal service could possibly function. Because it's literally all alleyways and
crazy.
Gorgeous times. So can I ask you about, because I'm sure people will be interested, about Go and Fool Us. I'm allowed to ask you about that?
What was that?
About Fool Us.
Oh,
about Fool Us. Going on Fool Us, how that came about and how it was as an experience.
Well, before Fool Us, there was another show called...
We run Wizard Wars. We're Penn and Teller, part of the judges panel. And we actually won that show, won the grand prize.
We only want to win second season. We only want to...
And the producers saw us on that show, and then they contacted us for Fool Us. And it's funny, because on Fool Us, they specifically asked for us to perform an illusion, because they had so many card tricks and close-up magic, they wanted something different and good for TV. But we knew going into it that an illusion wasn't necessarily our best attempt to fool them, so we just looked at it as a chance to get good TV. But what most people don't know is that we actually fooled them on Wizard Wars. We ended up... Yeah, well, I don't know if we ever told you this. We ended up winning the whole thing, and the whole concept was they give you random objects. You don't know what they're going to be, and then you have to create original magic, and then you're judged on creativity, showmanship, and deception. And they said that we ended up winning it because of the deception. And then when the show was over, we were all talking. Teller comes up, and he does speak. He comes up, and he says, "Can I have a guess?"
So here's the effect, though. I took one of the judges' rings, and I threw the ring into a blender, and the ring got ground up into the blender. And then less than a minute later, it reappeared behind. A waitress came behind the judges with an egg,
inside
and they could see all around this egg. And the egg was 100% sealed egg. And it was, you know.
They looked at it from all sides before they ever cracked it.
They took a pen and they cracked the egg with a pen, and they peeked inside the egg. And inside the egg was the judge's ring that disappeared less than a minute later and reappeared behind.
And you made this up on the spot?
I made this up. We
have a little bit of time to create stuff, but it was really it was a lot of pressure. We had no time to be able to rehearse this. I mean, the pressure and the intensity of the show was real, but it wasn't on the spot because that's not really possible.
We really had a couple days to kind of put this together in our head and what the routine was going to be.
But the actual rehearsals on stage were limited to, I think, we had one run through and then we filmed.
And it never worked during the run through, by the way. During the rehearsal, the egg appeared and it was all shattered in the back.
So, anyway, it was a stressful period. It worked. It fooled them because after the show, Teller said, "Can I have a guess?" And he guessed wrong. So we fooled them
before it was popular.
Satisfying.
You know what's funny too? We've been doing lectures a lot lately at different magic conventions, and this whole concept is something that we've kind of brought into our lecture as a fun way to close it. And we bring this in, and we actually have an impromptu Fool Us, and we let people have guesses, and then we offer a prize if somebody guesses it. Nobody's guessed it right. Of all these conventions, nobody's guessed it right. Not during the parameters of during that convention. Give me your answer. Nobody's gotten it.
Beautiful. I love it. So that was fun. Then you went on Fool Us after that and did something else. You did the thing I've seen you do on stage.
The ring thing, yeah, we did that. We got quite a lot of mileage out of that routine.
We liked it because it was not a box. I mean, and it's something that both of us are obviously presenting together. You know, we try to be a partnership. We try to avoid situations where I just kind of go into the background because we want our audience to see both of us, and that was a good fit for that. It was good. It hadn't been seen on TV. It has been since then. If other people have gotten it now and started performing it as well.
Of course they have.
Yeah, but it's served us well.
That happens. That old thing of someone did that to me this year, and it was a bit of a whole routine of mine on the television. Oh, it was like a dagger in the chest seeing that. Swines.
Well, as long as nobody's taking a ring and putting it into an egg, then we're not going to be mad at you.
You're fine. Should have done that one for us. And are you doing your lectures over on the line as well now?
We haven't pursued online lectures because it's kind of structured almost like a show too. And I don't know. We haven't gotten into that yet. We've been so busy working on the show, but maybe we will. I know we're going to plan to do workshops online.
Teaching kids magic.
Beginner magic that's good for families and stuff. I know an agent that we work with through the cruises is going to start producing shows online for families and also workshops. So we're expanding. We'll see. But maybe that's something we'll do in the future with the lecture.
It could be the way it could be that magic conventions are online from now on.
We've seen it. I've watched quite a few of them that have been online, and I do like the interactive ones where you can actually the more of the Zoom ones than the.
Well, there's different ways to do it in the Zoom platform. If you have a webinar, somebody's talking to you and you're able to see them, but you're not able to interact. It's limited. Like, everybody in the audience is not necessarily viewing each other and they're muted. And I feel like if you're able to open it and really speak to each other and have Q&A live,
that's the difference.
That's what helps.
That's why I like doing it. Because people have joined since we started chatting. So if anyone's got any questions, fire them up in the comments.
Send us your questions.
Absolutely. Ask. They're very open. There are no secrets here apart from the egg and the ring thing. You're not going to get that out of him anytime soon. But I remember, Gladwin, Andy Gladwin did, who organises the session convention with Josh J.
Yep.
He's a sweetheart, yeah.
And he did an online convention about, I don't know, 6 weeks ago or something.
Right, we watched it. It was phenomenal. He did a great job.
Did you see Caroline Raven? Swedish.
That's what I was going to ask, because you look after
She's
Caroline.
one of my acts, yeah. I book her for cruises. And I've been working with her to help her develop that specific show because, you know, a lot of people don't realize that just like any other venue, cruise is a different venue that has specific requirements, advantages and disadvantages. And so our 15 years of experience in that industry are what we bring to the table if somebody is working with us, so we can help them hone the show for that venue. And that's what we've been doing with her.
Absolutely. And how is she doing?
She's doing, actually, she just posted today that she did a show in Sweden. And she also just, I think, got booked for her 3rd TEDx speaking engagement. So she's doing okay. Cruises were on hold. She had a whole summer in Europe booked, and that got canceled. That's a bummer.
Did she? We all did.
But it'll be back, and she'll be back on stage soon there, hopefully.
It's weird. I've not met her, but she was at the session convention, and I kept seeing her about, but we just didn't. And I kept meaning to say hello because I wanted to say that I knew you.
Yeah.
Else.
I'll
And
let
then,
her know that we,
but we never, our paths never crossed, and then, you know, that was the story of that. But yeah, I know KYLE and Misty, and she goes like, yeah, do you? Everyone knows KYLE and Misty. You're all right.
That's funny.
But yeah, but I saw Gladwin's online convention, and that was interesting to see how it develops. Because the last convention I did was Blackpool.
We want to go to Blackpool. We've never
been to a Blackpool.
Well, you should absolutely. It's an experience, but there's no way I can see it happening. I pray that it does for them, but there's no way I can see that happening. Someone's asked a question. Let's go back to it. Hang on. Richard Bellas says hello. Another Penn and Teller person.
Hi.
He actually called them, but not on the actual show itself. I am Jordan Rooks is asking, how do you think the cruise ship entertainment will change after this? We have touched on that a little bit already, but how do you think it's going to...
I'm anticipating them limiting the seating capacity, maybe cutting it in half, not allowing people on stage. Because it's going to be less capacity, they still want to allow everybody to see the show. We might end up doing more shows than usual, but they're going to have the ship sailing at less capacity, so maybe that's not the case. I think initially that's what's going to happen. But they're going to have entertainment. They're not going to be able to do this without us. So.
And they're not going to have production shows.
Yeah, production shows are actually not, at least initially, going to be on the scene because of a lot of different reasons. Logistically, this huge cast has to rehearse together before they can ever come. Also, you have social distancing issues. So I think that they're going to rely on guest entertainment for a while.
Especially acts that are, you know, 1 or 2 people that can share a room.
Maybe a band of 6 people might not be the best choice versus, you know, a solo act or somebody that's already traveling together because they're going to be a safer option. I don't know. That's what I'm seeing in the future, but it's going to be back. I think by next year, you're going to see it return more with probably full fleet, but for this year, it's going to be a limited number.
Yeah. What do you think? Masks?
We actually had
Royal Caribbean just made an announcement yesterday. They had patented something called Sea Face, and they just elaborated saying that they are not going to explore bringing that onto the ship as an option. So I don't think they're going to push for any kind of mask requirement. They'll see people wearing them, but they're not going to require them. Hi, Frank. Frank was in one of our virtual shows the other day.
Frank's a Disney stalwart. He goes on a Disney Cruise Line a lot.
Yeah.
He's a good guy, Frank. I had a story about maybe having to get some sort of basically a COVID test.
Yeah.
And then, like with the yellow fever, you have to get the little piece of paper and show it to prove you've had the jab. Having the COVID test and then proving you've not got it before you get on board. So once the ship sails, it's COVID-free zone, so you can take your mask off. But again, rumours. Someone's asked another question. I've got Amazing David Magic, but before him, what do you like about the virtual shows? Asks, I don't know how to pronounce this, forgive me, Araceli Carrillo. What do you like about the virtual shows and how is it different from theatre shows, she's asking?
You want to take it?
You take
Me?
it.
Okay. I like the fact that there's a couple different things that I like about it. Number one, that it is close up, that we get to show things really nice that in a 1,000-seat theater, people in the back seat wouldn't be able to see. I like the fact that we get to see people's reactions. We get to see these faces and see their expressions. So we, in a real way, feel more energy almost because we can really see it. When you're on stage, you're kind of, you can't see the audience. You know that. And also another nice advantage to virtual shows is that
I don't have to wear pants.
Okay,
that's the camera's up from this level. So
I'm not wearing them now, Kyle.
I was going to say the fact that we are not limited to a location. Anybody in the world can experience this now because I have friends in Mississippi, family in Mississippi that have always wanted to see our show and never been able to. Now they can with this virtual show that we're doing on Saturday. So it expands your opportunity in that way.
Beautiful. I saw another question as well. I'm reading the questions aloud because if I save this to IGTV, the stream doesn't save. Everything else does. So, oh, I've done that again. There you go. Right.
He's back.
Where was it? Amazing David is
about audience energy. I think
yeah.
About the...
Here we go. In a live show, I feed off the energy of the audience, the applause and the cheers. And since we don't really get that during a virtual show, how do you maintain the energy right through the show?
It was a little bit weird, but I do feel like you can see by their faces that they're enjoying it, and that makes up for the fact that you're not hearing the applause like you normally.
And you do get to hear the applause. It's just it's in a different way. And other people have even come up with ideas too, where because the way Zoom specifically works, you only get to hear one screen at a time. So if everybody in the audience is cheering, you're only going to hear one person scream, whoever's the loudest that picks the mic up the most. So getting a visual applause like this is another cool option.
Sign language applause.
So you can see this from everybody if you want to get the whole group. But the cool thing is that after you get over the initial awkwardness of just it being a different platform, honestly, it felt very similar to me as when I'm on a new stage. And when you first get on a new stage, it's a little bit jarring because it's bigger or smaller or the acoustics are different. Felt like that. But after the first or second one, I was fine. Mm-hmm. And I felt the same adrenaline and excitement from the show that I do really in a smaller intimate show.
By the end of the show, we were physically like sweaty, and it was funny because we were just really had that energy.
Mm-hmm. So it's different, but I don't think that it's worse in that way. We did do a couple virtual shows initially when we were doing the hospital visits for the children's hospital. There was one that we did that did not allow us to see everybody watching because they were shooting this into everybody's rooms, but we couldn't see them. So we were basically just like a TV show performing to an audience that we can't see. That felt different, and I did not like that as much because then I definitely didn't get the energy back. But as long as I can see their faces, you can feel it.
Cool. Let's have a look at some more questions in this stream.
Hey, Katrina, another magician friend from LA.
Wonderful. Is she single? Sorry. Sorry.
It's turned into a dating game.
Straight in there.
Katrina.
I'm sorry, man.
What's your sign?
I'm sorry. That was really bad. I'm very, very lonely. Amazing David says, thank you very much. Oh, Katrina says hi. There you go.
I've been working with him too. We were working on getting him on Jailish cruises over there. They've been using production shows a lot lately, but when they start back with guest entertainers, you're going to see him on that cruise line.
Oh, nice. Another question coming in from JS Povey. What kind of magic are you performing on your virtual shows? And are you able to use material from your live shows, or have you had to adjust?
It's surprisingly familiar material that we've done in our live shows. But
we've had
but it takes about half. We created a few brand new routines specifically for this, things that were going to engage the audience and allow everybody to interact. Mm-hmm. We created some stuff for that. We brought in routines that we normally wouldn't be able to do in a theater, but that we could hear because of the close-up visuals. And the things that we do in the show, for example, there's one where we typically would get the audience applause to determine what we were going to keep and what we were going to get rid of. We were narrowing down a selection. And that wouldn't work here because we need to be able to hear everybody, and the microphone only picks up one person at a time. And so what we did was we just changed it to them telling us one or two, and that was how we eliminated the thing rather than using applause. So we can modify.
You have to modify a lot of things, but a lot of things were based off of things that we've already done in our other shows, and it's been an exciting something to do, keeping us busy, Putting together a whole new show that works in a different, medium is really not an easy process.
I mean, we're creating show, we're understanding this new venue, and then you've got the tech aspect. It really is an investment to understand this technology and this platform, and there's so many different elements. The cameras, the microphones, the internet speed, the controls within the app. It's a long process.
How to explain it to the people, the lay people that have never used Zoom
I spent
before.
all night writing up the document that people get after our public when they buy a ticket for our public show. Then I send them a document with all the details of what to expect with this. And we learned from trial and error with test shows what was confusing for people, how to log on and stuff. So I spell it out like nothing, so that it's easy and a not stressful process just getting into the technology.
This is all news to me. I mean, I've done 2 virtual shows since this started. Not for money though, to try it out. One was on here, I worked out. I did a stand-up show the first night of lockdown to try and get some money to save our local venue, and it did not. It was just me doing my actor's known, but to a camera.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel comfortable. Didn't like it. I didn't. It was horrible. But I've worked out from personally storytelling type material works for me.
Yeah.
Comedically, because that's not necessarily dependent on a punchline. It's a funny happening rather than a ba-dum ba-dum ba-dum.
Yeah.
So you can watch it on your phone or whatever and it not be as different. Does that make sense? It seems to
absolutely.
I
go over
Draw
that.
people in. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to work on now for this when the lights come back on, having lots more of trying to pad out my thin magic show with more stories.
Yeah, that would work well for you.
But we'll see what happens. Let's see if there's a thing.
Somebody says they want our table.
Oh, a cruel knockback
That's
from
funny.
the magical Katrina. My heart is devastated.
That's funny.
Strango Lewis. I don't know if Frank. I don't know because they use their code names. Is saying hi from Canada. Frank Valenti says the lottery trick was great.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. That was something that we hadn't done
Brand
before.
new. Frank was actually a guinea pig audience for us, a test show where we learned a lot from that show that helped us to tweak some things to make it even better and more fluid whenever we perform it in a paid show. And he's going to be in our audience this weekend for the paid show as well, and he'll be able to see the behind the scenes and then leading up to the reveal.
He's a good guy, Frank. Frank Valenti. He really is.
David's talking about our tables. So the people are mentioning our tables. So Kyle, another thing that we've done.
Oh, this is the arts and crafts, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. At the beginning of quarantine, we're like, what can we do? How can we, make some income? How can we stay productive? Well, he's been producing tables for the magic community and entertainment community for a while now. These are kind of our biggest sell at our convention appearances and lectures that we do. And we've been using it at our own show. All of our Disney shows, we're using these tables. It packs down into like 11 pounds into a suitcase, builds in a minute and a half, really sturdy and strong because it's all furniture grade material. And we're using it now on the show. And so he has these tables. And then he just started making these new little ones. These are super cool. They break apart. These are like $150, I think. I don't know. It's not very much. But
That breaks down quick.
It breaks down to nothing.
So he's got these 2. These are the small, like, side tables, but he also has the big.
We use them all over the
tables
place.
in the
It's
show,
actually
too.
funny. So they're all over our house. We use them for for
But
everything.
we've been selling a lot of those consistently throughout quarantine, which has been nice. And Kyle's actually an illusion builder. He used to work at Bill Smith's in Las Vegas, one of the most popular illusion builders around, and he learned how to build everything. He built illusions in our show, so this was a breeze for him. He's been really good at creating quality stuff.
So let's go back in time. How did it start for you two then?
Met Misty on a cruise ship. She was a guest on a cruise ship.
I don't always tell everybody this. You guys were getting secret information.
So you were performing before, Kyle?
I was performing, and I invited her to come to see my show, and she never came to the show. So,
we went to Cozumel that day, and I was drinking.
So she had some drinks in Cozumel and missed my show.
I barely made it to the ship. I'm on the show. But that was a long time ago. I was 20 years old, and it was
wow, 3 years.
Magic. Yeah, so that was a long time ago. We met, we kept in touch over the phone for almost a year. I came to visit him in Las Vegas, and I canceled my return flight home, and we've been together ever since.
And
And
always
now
in
here
Vegas.
we are,
Well,
in quarantine together.
Can you tell us an anecdote from when you were working with Brett Daniels? Oh,
Yeah.
how used to be
David
Brett-
asks.
right-hand man.
Yeah, I used to work for Brett Daniels. Oh, there were so many crazy stories with working with Brett. I can't even begin to get into it for probably legal reasons as well.
I I know some Brett stories.
But yes,
I feel.
I learned so much from Brett in the beginning, and just, you know, how to structure shows and how the whole business worked. So that was my master class, working with Brett.
Did you perform with him, or just the building?
I was the guy, you know,
On stage.
I was on stage. My official title was a dancer. I worked for Dick Foster Productions. I was actually a dancer in that show. You should see my dance moves. And but I didn't. Misty, she left the interview. But I was a dancer, but really a magi was what it was called. And I was the guy that did a lot of the technical stuff and trained the dancers.
You see the guys in black, like on the different TV shows with illusions and stuff. That's what he would do.
I was the guy behind the Lamborghini.
You can see him on World's Greatest Magic.
All those World's Greatest Magic. I don't know if it was a UK. Did that air in the UK?
It did come to about 3 or 4.
I was on pretty much all those World's Greatest Magics, but I was kind of the guy in black. I was behind the Lamborghini. I was the top half of the sawing in half. I was, you know, helped with the levitation with the hoop and all that stuff. So
I just saw a question from Jordan. He said, "What's
Yes.
the best piece of magic advice you've ever been given?" And it's the same advice that I give to all of our acts as well: is that be true to yourself. I mean, there's nothing wrong with like finding your character and elaborating on, you know, who you are at your core to make it more exaggerated. But if you try to pretend like you're somebody you're not, your audience is going to see right through it.
and always use pineapples.
Oh, that's for Jordan. That's an inside joke for Jordan.
You have to explain that one a little bit more.
But you get the work that you do.
You got this from Brett.
I got this from Brett. You get the work that you do. So if you are spreading yourself too thin and you're doing, you know, birthday, not that there's anything wrong with birthday party shows, but if
your ultimate goal is to do cruises, then investing in that rather than investing your time in another aspect is what's going to help you the most.
And be original. Try to be as original as you can.
Sweet. So pineapple with an egg in it. Pineapple.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you started working together,
Hey, Andy Gladwin just joined.
Hey, Gladys in the
We
house.
were talking
about you.
You got a shout out earlier, Gladys. You missed it. Late again.
Gladys? You call him Gladys?
That is his new name.
That's my name for the Gladwin.
That's perfect.
So when you started working together, Misty, did you come straight in as or did you come in gradually, or was it a process or straight in?
My role in the show has evolved quite a bit. In fact, there's a publication in the U.S., Linking Ring, and they're doing an article, I believe in July, discussing kind of my evolution in our show and how it's grown. And initially, it's funny because I was really diving headfirst into this and had never done anything like this. I had stage experience. I played the piano my whole life, and I had competed in the Miss America organization.
Misty is a former Miss Las Vegas, former Miss Las Vegas, former Miss Nevada.
You're cracking me up. But what people don't realize is that the organizations I competed in to get those titles are mostly public speaking and talent. And so those things really helped me to have confidence on stage. But I wasn't a dancer. And at the beginning of the show, he'd always had dancers in the show. It was very
choreographed, dancey show, yes.
And I learned, I had enough experience with certain aspects that allowed me to do that. But pretty early on, I learned that wasn't me. And it goes back to don't try to be somebody you're not. I knew what I excelled at was speaking on stage. So the show kind of transitioned after a few years where we took out the choreography and I started speaking and the audience really responded to that. And so now going forward, we really try to present the show as partners so they hear and see us both performing the magic individually and together and hearing us both speak. And
it's interesting when we're putting new routines together in the show, it becomes very clear very quickly that this is part of the routine that Misty would be better delivering.
Yeah.
And there's things in the routines that I have to deliver, and
there's certain scripts too that lend it's like, okay, this is a Misty script, or this is a Kyle script. Like you can tell which things suit us the best. But pretty much any new material we're adding right now, it's utilizing the both of us kind of in a shared energy back and forth where we pass it back and forth between us.
I love those pieces. One of my favorite pieces that you do is one where Kyle actually, it's not my favorite because Kyle doesn't speak, but Kyle, but it's when Kyle, it's the puzzle. I love that whole piece.
Nothing's impossible.
Yeah, I think
when you're telling a story and Kyle's just doing this incredible complex geometric puzzle behind you, and it just, I love the whole flow of it. You're telling your story, and he's doing this thing. Oh, it's a wonderful a wonderful thing.
It's become kind of a signature piece of ours. We've been doing it for a long time. There's a lot of different versions of it out there now. We started doing it back in like 2008. And I wrote that script because I wanted it to be real. A lot of people in their theatrical shows, you know, understand the value of the emotion and the highs and the lows and the pull, but we didn't want to write a BS story about something that wasn't true. I wanted to just give them an insight into who we are, where we came from, and how we came to be together, and give them a message that they could all take home with them. And so that's what we did with that script. And it's a nice piece in a theatrical show for us. And I'm glad you like that one. Thanks, Dan.
Well, it's my whole thing. Like when people ask, if you tell the truth, you're bulletproof. Is one of my little showbiz.
Yeah.
Like I don't, you know. You never saw snow glowing up. I don't believe you. Of course you did. What, you never had a television set? Of course you saw. Everyone's got these nonsense stories. Oh, this is my dad's ashes in this little box that makes the table float. Give over. Lies.
People did that. I've never seen that.
Oh, yes, they do. I've seen it. But what I love about you is that you do. It's the truth of it. The stories are true. We do have a couple of questions coming in. One from Jordan Rooks again. I am Jordan Rooks. Do each of you have a favourite routine in your show?
I've got a couple. I think coins would probably be my favorite routine. It's a sleight of hand routine that is with silver dollars.
It's really.
It's not this, but it's sleight of hand with silver dollars, where stuff happens that, you know, close up magic like that, you know.
But we really utilize the theatrics of it with lighting and music, and the magic moments are timed out with the music, so it gets a big impact. It's some of the biggest cheers in the show.
It's the most nervous I get during the show is right before that. And during the show when we did live shows, it was the moment where I could really kind of you know, take a breath and say a little talk to myself and okay, this is gonna go well. Okay, and you know, kind of you're by yourself in the middle of the theater. It's a weird feeling, and I really enjoy that. You know, right before you do it, and if you do it well, then all your practice pays off at the end. You really get a good feeling, because it took months. I mean, I've got some of the original moves in it.
I had the camera over him and just recording him, rehearsing with him for 6 months with him doing this before we ever even put it in front of an audience. So he gave a lot of time to it.
Excellent. And what's your favorite piece, Misty Knight?
You know, it's so funny because we sit here and talk about, you know, how I'm a partner and everything, and people might assume that if you are going to be a powerful woman in magic, that you wouldn't want to go inside of a box. But my favorite thing to perform in the show is our sawing in half. We call it dividing. And,
beautiful routine. That
some of the most energy and power in the show, and I think that because they've seen me speak throughout the show, they know, and I also have, you know, things that I do during it, interacting with people. I'm not a hidden figure. I'm still part of this experience, and the energy that we get from it. We perform it a little differently too. He actually exposes an old version. We have an irreverent style, and at the beginning he talks about how sawing a woman in half has been around for over 100 years, and this is what people think of when they think of sawing a woman in half. And then he snaps his fingers, and he actually reveals inside the box what's happening. A girl curled up over here, another girl over there curled up, and he says, "But this is what you don't see. It's really two people, and the boxes are huge." And so he said, but what people don't realize is that magic is always growing and changing and reinventing itself. So this is our new version. And so we expose an old version and then show them a new twist on it. And then in the style that we like to continue with in the audience interaction and them getting up close and involved and verifying things, we invite people to surround us. At one point, we've had maybe 20, 30 people surrounding us. And it's really cool, the energy you get with it. They're holding me down with my neck and my ankles. And he pulls out a pair of fake legs in the middle of it, too. Just as you're getting this energy building up, he said, what was your line? I forgot. I mean, we haven't done theater show in so long, I've forgotten it. He says, we're not even going to use these tonight. And then he pulls out a pair of fake legs, because we know that's what the audience is thinking. We don't want to insult their intelligence. We know that they're thinking, there's fake legs. We pull them out. We get that.
We beat them to the punch.
And then we say, nope, not tonight. Throw them over our heads. And then we get back to the routine. And I don't know. I just love the energy and the pacing. And I'm not even speaking in that one, but it's okay, because I don't feel like I'm lost in any way, because we've established at that point in the show that we're partners. And
I love that piece. It's like deconstructing the sawing in half, and then it's wonderful stuff.
What's your favorite piece in your show?
Frank says it was his favorite in our show too.
Thank you, Frank.
Can we do a tour?
I think we should.
When the lights next year, when the lights come back on, let's do a tour. Someone else, Vank Valenti says, the soaring is my favourite illusion too.
Thanks,
I saw a
Frank.
question that I've lost now. There it is. Gladders is asking a question. How is... We did touch on this at the start, but there's an awful lot of people watching now that weren't watching then about how is Vegas looking right now?
It's coming back. I'm a little concerned, to be honest, though, because people are so excited to come here and so excited to get back to gambling and get back to their vacations that they're not taking the precautions that would probably be smart. We're not seeing as many people wearing masks, or I think people are just, we got so exhausted with quarantine. They're like, okay, I'm free. And I'm afraid it's going to influx again because our cases in Nevada have started coming up again. So
Nevada was actually doing really well before, but there's going to be another spike.
But on the positive side, you know, they are finding ways to open new venues and entertainment again, so that people can, you know, with different safety protocols, they can still go out and enjoy a show just on a different way. Like with the comedy shows, there's distance between the people, and they're putting all the precautions in with the sanitizer, and people are encouraged to wear masks. So that's what we're seeing. People are excited, though. I think that the casinos were even surprised at how quickly people came back. And every couple of days, new things are opening. So we'll see. I hope that we find that we don't have a spike and we can just continue, you know.
So the airport's running okay and everything like that?
We haven't been to the airport since March. So
I've never gone this long my entire life without going to an airport.
But we were coming home the other night. Patty and I we took the wrong exit and we ended up going through the airport, and it was ghost town. There was nobody. It was really weird.
Oh, it's just, I want it to come back like it was. It's upsetting me now. Car WGC, love when Misty ends up in a spectator's coat and they don't realise what's happened.
That's such a that's another
He's not
one.
referring to a show, I suspect. This is a
That's
thing
going
in
to be a
life.
long time.
I'm not going to be able to do that in these new social distance shows, and it's a bummer. But that's one of my favorites. It's kind of my opportunity to perform magic, where I get a volunteer from the audience, and they're not set up. We use a lot of volunteers in the show, and people, you know how audiences are. They're always skeptics, and they think everybody's set up, but no. They get to they don't have to be involved. They can still be right there next to us and be amazed, and the guy has no idea what happened.
Yeah, no, I'm dreading going back for that. Without that, I don't know what I've got. So it's kind of going to be interesting. The first one back.
Yeah.
You know what normally happens in this show, ladies and gentlemen? Not tonight. Tonight it's story time.
Yeah, I know. Normally I would have you do this. We'll see.
I think that
but people are so hungry for entertainment, they're going to be happy with whatever they get.
They're going to be happy with whatever they get right now, pretty much. But the entertainers that are quickest to adapt to this are going to be successful. And so that's the game right now, is adapting to your situation, you know, constantly changing and rolling with the punches. And we've been punched a lot lately. So, you know, entertainment and cruises, and, you know, you have to adapt and keep on rolling with it. So.
Absolutely, you're doing incredible. So the paid shows this week, because we're getting up to that point where Instagram's going to chuck us off in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Because it cuts you off after a certain amount of time. So this is your last chance, friends. Any questions for KYLE Knight and Misty? Get them in.
Yeah.
And while we're waiting, we'll just keep chatting. But
is that Jeff Tavasia's son? Hey, Jeff Tavasia is a juggler friend of ours we work with on cruises, and I believe that's his son. Hi.
Hi, Jeff.
We have the public show coming up next Saturday, a week from today. It will be 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It will be, I think, midnight over in the UK when we do it. So if you're a night owl, come see us. We still have about 9 spots left. We like to keep the show limited to a certain number of spots because we want to be able to see everybody and interact and give everybody a chance to participate. Tickets are only $20 for this public show. It's live interactive. We're going to be using the audience throughout the whole show. If you want a ticket, you can find information on our website, nightmagic.com. If you're ready to buy a ticket, just email me, misty@nightmagic.com, and then I'll set you up with everything you need to. And the ticket is good for your whole household. Anybody that can fit into that device and see the screen gets to watch
and then
the
you
show.
can project it on the largest screen you have in your house. So it's interesting.
That's on June 20th.
We're going to do a lot of these, so follow us on social media. So
yeah. Have KYLE Knight
all
and
of our
Misty in your
Instagram and
house.
Facebook, it's KYLE and Misty.
The Wicked Witch of the Web is asking that they missed the start. Will I leave this up, please? Yes, I will. Well, unless Instagram's constantly changing the rules on me. But assuming it's the same as it was last night, yes, I will. And I'll put a link up to KYLE and Misty's site so you can get a ticket as well. Should every magician teach their lover magic and have them in their show? I'm asking for a friend.
That's a whole complicated thing that I don't necessarily recommend. It's do not do it just because you want her in the show. It needs to be because she wants to. This needs to be her passion too. This needs to be something that she's going to enjoy. Otherwise, you're just going to create a whole lot of drama. So
we want to minimize the drama.
Absolutely.
And it's a
Not an issue for me.
Thanks, guys.
I walk alone, the way of the samurai. There's no... Don't try and rope the wind, ladies. Someone's asking, has any more come of your damaged illusions?
So I'll touch on this real quick. We had a gig. We were on Oasis of the Seas for a whole season. It was one of the largest ships in the world. We were excited for it. They decided to ship some illusions. The illusions shipped out to Florida. Gig got canceled. They send the props back and they're trashed. Thousands of dollars of damage. Long story short, they're giving us $51. That's what the insurance company is sending us. Yeah, we're not happy about it. And so
how much damage was caused?
Buy tickets to our show.
There was thousands of dollars of damage, and,
Yeah.
and they just basically, you know, nothing we could do. We just had to take it.
This goes from being an online show to KYLE and Misty to basically a magic telethon. Can we raise money to help these poor, impoverished waifs put their illusion show back together?
Funny.
The Amazing David says that was a brilliant interview. I've just got about to get to bed. It's 3:28
Good
Good
a.m.
night,
here.
David.
Where are you, Amazing David? Where is he?
India.
He's in India, yeah.
India. Oh wow. You been to India?
We
Not
have
yet.
never.
I want to though, one day.
Oh, that's so
Never done
close.
India or Australia?
No, and we're supposed to be in Australia doing the Melbourne Magic Festival this summer, next month actually. Got canceled, but we're rebooked for next year, so we're going to be in Australia next summer.
Oh, lovely. I was supposed to be in Vegas, wasn't I?
You're going to come visit us, okay, Danny?
Well, I am going to come visit. As soon as this is over, I'm getting out there, mate. Don't you worry about that. I'm going to be... I don't need no excuse. Right, my friends, unless there's any more questions for KYLE and Misty, I shall... No, I think that's the end of the question stream. So, my friends, I will leave this up in my IGTV if Instagram will let me. But please, a massive thank you for tonight's guests on the Danny Buckler Show.
It was great to see you again, Danny.
KYLE Knight and Misty, everybody.
Love you, Danny. Thank you for having
I'll
us.
see you soon, friends. Love you lots.
See you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, and that's the story of that. Oh, Vegas. Oh, I can smell it. Can you? What a wonderful chat. I love it to see them. We'll ask them back on again. So thank you for tuning in for tonight's The Danny Buckler Show. I hope you enjoyed it. Very quickly, some admin. I myself am appearing in an online show next weekend. Not mine. It's a comedy festival for Chippenham Comedy Festival. I will put a link up to that on here at some point. It's going to be 2 days of comedy festival. And one of the events is my one-man show, Gangsters Zen and Gambling Dens. But if you saw that before on here, the new version of that, with some more bits. So if you've seen that before, I hope you enjoy that. There'll be more Danny Buckler shows in the course of the week. Some more Disney Cruise Line guests are coming up this week. And Zen Time with Buckles, if you're one of the people that watches that and joins in with it, that will be possibly tomorrow afternoon, depending on if anyone's interested, basically. I just started up and that one. And if you're around, great. So a huge thank you to KYLE Knight and Misty. A huge thank you to you for tuning in. Loads of love. Stay safe and stay sane. And I will see you next time here on the Danny Buckler Show. Take care. Good night.